Well, good evening and welcome, Zelda 1 Randomizer race fans. And welcome specifically to the 2025 Random Force Tournament. This is the Swiss Week 2 in the 1-0 players bracket. We have a great match here this evening, and on the left-hand side, you can see Tabby Orange, and on the right-hand side, we have Pleco. Both of them have gone through Swiss Week 1, took a win in their first week, and today we're going to find out which of them is going to move into the 2-0 bracket and which one's going to move into the 1-1. Here in the commentator's booth, my name is Neo Nonane, and I am joined here today with Mako71. Mako, how you doing?
Doing well, Neo, and yeah, looking forward to this. We've got a fish, we've got a cat, got a great commentating team. We've got Jeff behind the scenes pushing buttons, so I think we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, and that's a great call out. Incidentally, Jess98. Jess is our tracker for this evening. Thank you for jumping in, Jess. Trackers, of course, are just the MVPs. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be on air today. So I gotta say, Mako, what are we expecting for tonight? I mean, they both had super good first week races, and both against really skilled opponents, right? So like I'm expecting quite a bit of oomph coming out of tonight.
Yeah, it's real exciting. If you look back in the community, Tabby was our Rookie Rumble 2 winner. So, I'd say kind of not a full-time vet like some of the folks that have been doing this 10 years, but certainly junior veteran status. And Pleco graced our appearances last year, I think, for the first time in Rookie Rumble 3. Had a really good showing, lost, I believe, to our eventual champion, Rat Boy. And yeah, it's good to see them both back here and doing well so far in the first round of Swiss. So I think we got a good one tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I got a very fun Pleco in the Rookie Rumble stat. Pleco's the one who eliminated me from the Rookie Rumble 3. And so, oof, the grudge match will come up in this tournament, I promise it. Incidentally, we're going to get the stream synced in just a moment here, and Tabby's heading right over to 1Q1, which is turning out to be level 7.
Yeah, we got a bubblegum level 7, and looks like Tabby's going to go ahead and do a little bit of poking around, and looks like Pleco's going to be joining him here shortly. And, you find a level like this early on, I agree with this move. You get a couple rooms checked out. You never know with, just to talk about the flags for a second, Interdungeon, Heart Shuffle. So you are always going to have a heart in dungeons 1 through 8, but we don't know if it's going to be on the floor or in a staircase. There is one additional heart, which is known as the Coast Heart, and that could end up on the coast, could end up under Armos, or it could be in one of the dungeons as well. So, unlike the when Heart Shuffle's off, a quick dip in 7, you were looking for a staircase, right, to be able to get that item. So good dig for both of them. We'll see which way they head. Looks like Tabby's going east. And see if Pleco joins them. No, she's going left. So now we've got some divergence.
Which I think is going to work out. Well, what I'm thinking we're going to see from Pleco here, if we see the screen scroll, is the Armos checks over at the Grave Armos and the Death Armos, as compared to Tabby's probably going to get the ones on the right. And these can be huge, incidentally, because going back to your point, Mako, that every dungeon's going to have a heart in it, but there's one additional dungeon that's being there's one additional heart that's being shuffled around, the Coast Heart. That means your Armos item has a really good chance of having an actual valuable item, but maybe a 51 secret is not necessarily valuable over there at the Lost Hills Armos. Whew.
No, it could be some money management for sure. You hate to see the 51 secret. But, you have to factor that in with your gameplay. You may have to do some up A saves. You may not be able to find arrows the first time you find them, like Tabby just found at Casino Corner. And Pleco is on Death Armos, and this is a tough one here. Be careful, because
It is living up to its name. Oh, this is going to be tough.
Now, the good news for Pleco going that route, and I've actually, it's 50-50, right? We saw both runners divert. I like the move going left, because if that happens, she's not that far away of being able to get right back there and do the check. She already knocked out one of the Armos, so she knows where it's narrowed down to. And let's see, Tabby is Still up here in the northeast. I'm a northeast early guy. I don't know about you, Neo, but there's so many open caves over in that area, and we find a take any, and it knocks out a raft spot.
That's always good to see when we know we don't need the raft. And on that that point, northeast, good area to go. I'm a Deadwoods into the grave, into the screen scroll to Death Armos, and then we go east. Now, granted, I am not a highly ranked player, so please nobody go ahead and take that as actual advice, right? But normally I like that route because even though we get those two different Armos checks over there when we could get 3 over in the east, it is a bunch of spots that are not normally hit early on. And if you find a bunch of bombs, you can choose to do Death Mountain early, and that can sometimes be a differentiator in a race.
Yeah, there are some people that swear by early Death Mountain, some people that'll leave it to last, and some newer runners have asked me preference. I said, look, if there was a preference, if something worked, we would all be doing it. So it is completely random. You just never know. There was a seed the other day that I think all the dungeons were in the western half of Hyrule, and you really don't know. Pleco takes another death. We'll see. It looks like she's going to head back east, whereas Tabby's already over here doing all his checks.
I know, we gotta hope. That's 2 attempts over at Death Armos and 2 deaths while doing it. So we just gotta hope that Death Armos doesn't have anything too interesting. Well, the Armos item has been found over in Eastern Hyrule in the Southern Forest Armos spot, and it is just a wooden boomerang. Good when you don't have a sword, but that tells us Death Armos, at least not our Armos item for this evening.
Yeah, I pick that up every time early in seeds. I just wish it was like Minecraft where you can unload your inventory after a while. But look, sometimes enemies, it's plus or minus 2 HP. You don't know. Maybe the blue Octoroks roll down, right? And then all of a sudden you're getting bomb droppers. And even just those steps that Pleco went up, you have a boomerang right there. You can freeze those enemies and continue up your path. So, I am not on the team to just ignore the boomerang unless it's 40 minutes in, or I have one.
Now, Pleco's seen the large secret and the medium secret. By the way, Tabby finds out that the Coast Heart is in fact the Coast Heart this time around. And with our large secret being 51, ever so small, almost the smallest that we can possibly get, but the medium secret is just 1 shy of the largest. It's a lot more medium secrets out there than large secrets. This might not be as poor as we were afraid that we were going to see.
Yeah, and what it really comes down to is when you're finding the door repairs, right? I mean, you can get 2 big secrets early on and then hit a string of door repairs, buy a candle, and you're down to 10 rupees. So you never really know how it's going to play out. You may have some rupee bosses scattered in dungeons that you can save scum for some money if you wanted. But yeah, Pleco's going to get the news. Oh, she's not going to get the news, Neo. I spoke too soon.
Not as much. But that's okay. I mean, it's we know it's not a big deal. Maybe she'll go ahead and she'll rotate away from there and go find something else going on right now, right? Willing to take a gamble. Chat, by the way, our wonderful tracker, Jess, is pointing out that our small, medium, large comes down to 1839.51. And thank you, chat. Medium secret, you are the real large secret. Doing the heavy lifting for today. So now we have that information across the board. I don't think we've seen a door repair quite yet, so we don't know how bad those can be, but they could be pretty bad.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting back to the flags a little bit, if you haven't seen many of the races this tournament season, as Tabby finds the wood sword, and Pleco did not make it back up
took
last
a death
time.
on that screen her second time up there.
Yeah,
could have been an early advantage.
So no extra candles. Extra candles were a flag. I don't know how early into the randomizer Fred put them in, but you'll typically see them as extra when there's a take any heart potion or a candle. That flag is turned off. So unless you stumble across a red candle, both our runners will likely need to buy a blue candle. Of course, there's a chance that no dungeon is under a burnt bush. Doesn't happen very often. It's another form of some offense as well. So you're going to want to make sure you've got enough cash for that blue candle purchase.
Yeah, and I forget the actual math. Somebody did the math on that one, saying what are the odds that you can go a seed without a candle blocking an overworld dungeon? and those odds were not particularly large. So they're probably going to need to go find that. I got to tell you, extra candles. I said the other day that it was the best quality of life thing I've ever seen in Zelda, but I was corrected. It is the second best. The first one being sped up text, best quality of life change.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And Tabby's going to find Death Armos, and it was a medium secret. So mystery solved there. As Pleco's changing places with Tabby, now up in the northeast. So Tabby with the sword, we'll see where he chooses to go. Likely wanting to get a bomb drop here shortly. Pleco thought about a arrow or meat purchase, likely the arrow, decided not to. I agree again with that move. You don't want to end up finding that candle and not having enough money. As she's tempted twice now with back-to-back wood arrow shops. And Tabby's now looks like going to try and get a... No, changed his mind. Not going to try and get a bomb drop off the Lionels.
And going for that purchase on the arrow, that's kind of a strategic decision you got to think about in this, because if you go ahead and you spend all that cash right now and it's an arrow and you don't have a bow and you don't find a bow until the very end, then you just wasted all that money. But on the same token, if you carry all that cash around with you and hit door repair after door repair after door repair, you're putting yourself in a pretty bad position, all things considered, and that arrow might not even be affordable in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some folks that I've heard they won't ever buy the arrows until they've confirmed Armos items. Some will say Armos and even possibly White Sword, because, that could be a 90 rupee savings if you don't actually need to buy it. So, again, if there was a school of thought that made the most sense, we'd all be doing it. But Tabby's now down in the southwest corner of Dead Woods and not got these sections here.
Yeah, and they got a global off of a blue Lionel. So now we're at a point where we got bombs, we got sword. I mean, there's nothing in this overworld stopping us at this point other than the overworld blocks, which, if we're talking about the rule sets for a moment here, we do have a mixed first quest overworld, which means that all of the spots that are shared between first quest and second quest, as in, certain caves, like the start cave, for instance, those are all going to be basically the same as what you're used to for those two quests. But if there's something that's unique, it's only available in first quest, which, for instance, the northeast grave push block, or something that's unique to second quest, for instance, the northwest grave push block, you got about a 35% chance of one of those guys actually opening up, and we have no idea what it is. That's all randomized today. As, for instance, what we just saw right there, that's a second quest push block that's happening over on Tabby's screen. Now, the point behind all of that is that it means that we may have some overworld blocking items. Normally, we go through and we see 4 power bracelet blocks and a recorder spot blocked over in first quest. But now we have potential bomb and ladder blocks on the river. We have a lot more power bracelet blocks. We have something like 7 or 9 recorder blocks. Oh, and of course, the 2 raft blocks continue to exist. Pleco finding that wood sword, by the way.
Yeah, so she'll be able to start using her A button. Is Tabby decision to make here where he chooses to go? We haven't found any dungeons other than 7. And looks like what you were saying earlier, Neo, could be a play on Death Mountain. He's got 6 bombs. I know Tabby's pretty good at counting and keeping bomb counts going. So would not be surprised to see a dip up there. You're starting to run out of other spots as well. That the other play there is you don't have a candle. There's no point really going to the forest. You don't want to go out of your way for the southern coast. Like, go where you can actually start clearing things. And we'll see if he chooses to go that route or not. But I think it would be a smart play if he did. And Pleco trying to get... Okay, she was 1 off. When you see the fairy drop from an A group enemy, you want to kill another enemy, then your bomb dropper. So her next B group enemy is a bomb chance.
And that's a really important thing for a lot of these runners out here, is keeping an eye out exactly on when your globals are. Your B group enemies, your bomb droppers, like we just saw on Pleco's side, Gibdos and Red Gorillas, for instance, they'll drop on the 1, the 6, and the 8 on the global, and that will just cycle through 10 and then reset itself after every kill, all the way up until you reset the system itself. So being able to count that, knowing where you are, and knowing when you can potentially get that, really helps you order the kills, and helps you really get that bomb drop more frequently.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 40% chance, although...
Oh, yeah.
I've seen somebody go 0 for 17 in vanilla runs.
There's
But
been some messy ones.
yeah, there have. Well, good for Pleco here. I imagine she's going to head the same direction here up on the mountain. Again, you don't have your candle. Maybe you find your candle shop up here, and we'll see. Pleco did just have a bomb. Actually, both of them had a 10-count force on that same screen on the red octos and kicked out a fiver. So, but Tabby's got plenty of bombs to make it through. Pleco right now is going to be a little short unless she gets a force.
Yeah, and that's your other great way to make sure that you can get, or try to make sure you can get some bombs out there. If you can kill 10 enemies consecutively after the last time that you were bopped, by the way, getting the wood arrows over on Tabby's side. 10 enemies consecutively, if you kill the 10th one with a bomb, they will drop a bomb in almost every single scenario. Oh, we're spending cash on bait right now, too. Wow. Tabby with the safety purchase.
Yeah, so people were listening to us earlier. Now that you're 15 minutes in and have 200 rupees, yeah, you're okay to go ahead and start buying some other items. He's got 112 left. The candle's never going to be that expensive. So I agree with that and picks up another. It's hard to call it a large secret Neo at 51. So call it like a medium. How's that?
It's a secret that should not make us sad, but does. That's a pretty long naming convention.
No, a youth large maybe is what that is. Okay, well, you know what? There was another bomb drop. Oh, no, that's the same bomb drop. I got my screens mixed up.
At least it's inexpensive to go ahead and buy bombs. Only 5 rupees. I mean, they're vanilla at 20, so this is a bit of a discount for our runners. Good dodging.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, absolutely. I have a history of rolling cheap bombs. I did that for Sigil in a race last year, dollar bombs. But it was the rare shop, but we try not to remember the rare shop part of it.
Well, we went ahead and we just found ourselves level 5 up in Death Mountain, approximately at the. And gosh, Mako, you probably know the naming of this better than I do, but is that the connector between West and East Death Mountain? Is what that?
Yeah, I think some of the kids call it the transition screen, if I'm not mistaken. But I knew exactly what you meant when you started to describe it. So yeah, let's see. So Pleco's in 7. You know what? I agree with this. You took an untimely death. You need to start finding things. Did not find 5, unfortunately. So while 7's not a dungeon you want to go into, they haven't found anything else other than Tabby now just finding 5. So I agree with this. You can get stuck in here for a while. 7s can be pretty rude. But you know what? Maybe you get something good. And I'm thinking too, although you'd like to get an offensive upgrade, because I've cleared so much of this overworld and have found exactly 2 dungeons, I'm probably hoping for an overworld block item. A recorder, a power bracelet, because I think we've got some blocks on the overworld, or we've got a ton under burn bushes.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We're going to be running into at least one of our overworld blocking items, which, by the way, the non-candle overworld blocking items happen just slightly less than once per seed as a fun statistic. But I actually like Pleco's choice here to go ahead and go into 7 as well, because 7's kind of messy. It's in most seeds, it's like your 3rd largest dungeon. Most, I know 6 does 6 things, but it's usually your 3rd largest dungeon. But it doesn't have the 2 key items that 8 and 9 do, which are larger. By the way, Tabby first on the board with Triforce and 5, and so 7 ends up just being a mess for everybody. But if you're having a harder time, especially if you're taking a lot of deaths in the overworld and you're feeling a little bit behind, to make an off-the-wall play where you go into something that you don't really think Tabby's going to go ahead and dig, that can be a gamble, but it's a gamble that could pay off huge if you end up finding an item that opens up the rest of the overworld, or even a bow or silvers or something like that.
Yeah. The longer I'm in here, though, we've got a manhandla and we're out of bombs. We've got a 4-headed Gleeok in a shutter room. You're going to start. For me, the internal timer's starting to go, because I agree. And it could be a strong kind of, I don't want to even call it a meta play, but you're right. Like, a lot of people won't go in here. And what if the ladder's in here, right? And like, that's a big deal, and that could be a huge advantage. But at the same time, you're starting with the enemy set, although these guys are nice and easy. I don't want to be anywhere near that 4-headed Gleeok, though, on 3 hearts. So you want to start to say, okay, how much is too much time? And potential push block here for Tabby. Single block in 5 always seems to want to push. And there's the dungeon heart. So level 5's item is going to be somewhere on the floor.
Very nice. We'll see if Tabby digs for it. I'm going to assume so, based off of A, coming down the stairs here, but B, the need for something over in the overworld. And, you know, with Pleco's call, like exactly what you were saying there, Mako, like it's, you got to make the choice. Do you want to go on something that's high risk, but potentially high reward? I know that's what I would be doing in this scenario after that many snipes on the overworld. Is it's time to go and do something a little off the wall, because some of the old guard, for lack of a better phrase, would play it safe, and this is an opportunity to not necessarily do that. It's the transport. I was about to say, wouldn't that be great? Like open that up and there was the ladder or something right there, but no.
Yeah, I mean, you know the coast heart where, well, she doesn't know where it's at. You already got one boomerang off the table, right? And this is a, we're going to call this an up A room. I don't know the technical term, but I'm going to go with up A room here. So, and as Tabby does not, I didn't see, I was looking to see if that was a transport stair in 7 or an item. Why Tabby failed from level 5.
Oh yeah, that I did miss. But I mean, bailed and no item.
No map, so might have been a ladder block.
Could have been a ladder
combat
block.
Was he did have dark nuts in there, but I didn't see if why he noped out.
It could have just been a time investment gamble, because 5 was getting a little annoying. You were putting in some effort, you were poking around, and do you really know if it's going to go ahead and be worth it to you in the end after you already found one item? The answer is maybe, but 5's also 5.
Yeah. And Pleco finds level 3. So no bombs, but you know, we do have a key door here. She'll be able to go ahead and use that key. And unfortunately now is going to be key blocked. So we'll see where she decides to go from here. Again, it's knowledge. She now has 2 dungeons identified.
3 small, 3's easy to dig. You just got to get past that key block in this case, or maybe there's a potential to bomb through there. But regardless, we gotta pick up one of those 2 items to progress.
Well, we're gonna find out. Unless something really odd happens, I think we're gonna see Tabby go right into 3. So, Pleco getting those bombs. We'll see if she decides to go back to 3 or finish up the mountain. Looks like she's gonna finish up the mountain. And one of the other flags, it's, you know, by the time this race is over, we'll get through all the flags, Neo, you know, the way it's going. But one of the other flags here as well, to those of you used to watching the randomizer races, is the book is not an atlas. Okay, so you're not going to get free maps if you find the book. And the other key component with that book is it allows you to understand the elderly men, which is very helpful because all the hints, as we see a mate block and Tabby has the meat, wow. So go ahead and get that out of your inventory. But it allows, all the hints are helpful. Okay, so you're not going to get anything about a 1996 Dodge Caravan driven by Aquamenus.
That's still the best hint out there,
allow you, yeah, the book's going to allow you to get all of that. So, and Tabby bombs the clock. You don't see that very often. But a questionable decision, but it leads to the ladder. I may have to add bombing the clock into my routine if I'm going to get a free ladder on the floor.
So while Tabby did drop the bait, it didn't look like we needed the bait to go ahead and get the ladder. And we know the Triforce is in the room right under this. So there's just one more key. And we could have seen Pleco going ahead and picking all this up too. Looks like Tabby wants the heart that's in here. I mean, I can see that. You're only on 4 hearts, and you need it anywhere between 4 to 6 to get the white sword item, if we even find it anytime soon.
Yeah, I like this play. Well, you're going to get a map here. It's not a big dungeon. You may get a couple of keys as well. Like I doubt he's going to burn a key. But if you're able to get a couple keys or a heart, I don't mind this play. It's not a ton of rooms, and it can save you later when you're
And
done
that's going
with
to be
no
it right
keys.
there.
There
There
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah. So probably going to go ahead and get out of here after getting that heart. Or not.
What are we looking for?
I'm guessing keys at this point. Not going to burn a key to find a key. So, yeah, I'm not sure. And we will see if Pleco is able to potentially find the item in level 5. And I think Tabby said that's it. Commentators are wondering what I'm doing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and get out.
Well, pick up that Triforce. Off you go.
So Tabby now up to 2 Triforces. Has the ladder, does have the ability to pick up that Coast Heart when he's back in the area. Pleco finds her level 5 heart in the staircase.
Now, we might actually see what caused Tabby to nope out of 5, or maybe we'll just get to see the floor item over here in 5 from Pleco's side. Could have been the lack of interest of going right in that Goma room.
I know there's been a lot of, and you've been doing a lot of the behind the scenes work of rooms that drop and don't drop, but I'll tell you the pointless moat, as this room is called, in level 5 is one of those that always, to me, feels like it's going to drop, more so than, say, a double block room. So we'll see. She got a nice clock. She's not going to bomb the clock, I guarantee that. But we'll see if this drops something. And of course, after I just spent 30 seconds saying how that room likes to drop, nothing.
Of course it'll skip it this time around.
Exactly.
All right, well, we are really seeing the let's call it intense dig over on Pleco's side to find everything. I mean, she knows where the Triforce is. She's gonna go ahead and spend the 6 hearts to pick up the White Sword item, which is the Power Bracelet. That's interesting.
Well, Tabby knows where the other heart's at. Now, Pleco did go up that extra room, and I really like this play. Getting that bomb upgrade, that's a +5. It's going to be really beneficial for her. If there was a race yesterday, I'm not going to give away spoilers. One runner had mags. The other ended up probably was not going to be able to beat a required room. Found the bomb upgrade, and that was just enough to go ahead and allow them to clear. So very helpful to get that bomb upgrade. But we still have a mystery. We don't know what's on the floor in 5. And there's the candle shop for Tabby.
Very, very well, we haven't seen very many instances of that shop so far. That's our first one. Could be the rare shop, but it also could just go ahead and be a normal shop. The candle is guaranteed to be available in an open cave or behind a bomb wall, but not under any other blocking item. But the rest of the instances of that shop could be blocked. Just one has to.
This is good for Tabby. Getting all these Gorias up here. Well, he's 0 for 3 so far. But you're 1 bomb short if you were going to go ahead and do. Still 1 bomb short if you're going to do both of the river checks. That's not horribly out of the way, but I know personally when I make this pass, I'd rather be able to knock them both out.
So another fun fact on the flag, since we saw a bomb upgrade a little while ago and we were just talking about it, the bomb upgrades kind of haven't shuffled. As in, the bomb upgrades normally in 5 and 7 in Vanilla First Quest. In this flag set, they can be both in 7 or 1 in 5, 1 in 7. Both are viable options.
And no river spots today, but rather have the knowledge than not have the knowledge for sure.
Exactly.
Pleco, well, that Okay, neither bomb worked. That's just fine. Gonna go ahead and do South Central Hyrule. We're also known as close to start.
I like calling it South Central Hyrule, though. It sounds right.
It sounds very proper, an area that may be questionable to go into, but so let me ask you, Neo. We don't know yet. Know you're in the tournament. What is your opinion? What's your preference with the random Triforce entry? Do you want 5, 6, or 7, or you want the full boat?
And I'll absolutely give my opinion on that. And that is actually our last flag set that I think is important to make sure everybody knows about. Is the entries into level 9 are randomized. It's anywhere from 5 to 8 different Triforces to do it. Now, and they'll tell us when we get into 9 what the actual number is that we need. It'll be right there in the first room after the entrance. The my preference is actually 5, and it's not just because it's on the lower end, but from a personal preference, the whole bit about going into 7 and trying to dig it and doing something a bit off the wall. That's how I personally like to try to get my wins, is doing something a little bit different. And if you only have 5, people are going to try to dig the 5 smallest. And I'll try to go ahead and spend some time in something larger and hope that actually pays off at the end of the day and someone else has to go into 9 and dip out and everything like that. But for other runners, particularly those who are good at combat and clear seeds faster, I can see something like a 6, a 7, or even an 8 really being a viable way to truly differentiate. And unfortunately, Pleco does not get a chance to see that coast item again.
Yeah, that's not an easy screen with all of the Lionels, even with the boomerang. But the other component that, at least from my feed, is I think it's really lagging. When you've got a bunch of Lionels or Moblins on a screen, you get that horrible lag. And it just looked like it, and that gets really uncomfortable. Like, you're used to a certain speed and you're trying to dodge the beams coming from 4 different directions. I know personally that happens to me quite a bit. And Tabby's now in 7, so still a ton of dungeons outstanding. If I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. So makes sense, but also with that candle, maybe I'm a bit surprised hasn't tried to go over to the forest. You don't know if there's a 1 or 2 under one of those burn bushes versus what we were talking about earlier with a level 7.
Yeah, I would be at this stage. You're 30 minutes in. You've seen, as you were saying, 7, 5, 3. I mean, I would be incredibly concerned, and I would be burning the entire forest to the ground at this stage if I had just picked up the candle.
Right. So I'll answer. It's funny. I normally will say I want all 8 because it takes out a lot of the randomness of, oh my gosh, I didn't need to clear all these, or somebody else got really lucky. They had 5 Triforces and found silvers. They're in go mode already. However, with that said, anytime I see it's 5, I tend to get excited. So it kind of brings it right back, because then my brain works, hey, less work involved. But it can have a lot of complexity and with 5, because that example alone, what if you have everything but the bow? You got 5 Triforces, bow, or maybe you've got everything but silvers. Now it's like, oh my gosh, I maybe haven't even found where level 6 is at.
Yeah.
And that may be where the silvers are hiding. And I look up at the overworld and I've got 30 spots unchecked.
Yep.
That is the flip side to it. So, but I would say at the end of the day, yeah, I'd rather have less work to do and just hope I get the required items.
Absolutely, and that I mean, it's a complete game changer. Silvers was the best example too, because if it's a bow that's missing and you've gotten 5 Triforces and 1 through 5, you've seen all your items. Oh, Pleco got her candle. You've seen all your items. You've done all of those pieces. That's fantastic. You got to go 6, 7, or 8 to go find that bow somewhere, and then you have to make a choice whether you found them or not. Do you dig? Do you look, etc. But the silvers, they can be in 9, and
Yep.
do you make the choice to go into 9 at that stage of the game?
Yeah, and in a race the other day, Pleco, for her first win over me, Great to see how well she's doing, but I had 8 checks where those silvers could be. It's like, and of course they were in 9, but it's one of those things, right? Like, well, you have 8 checks. Like, those odds are not good that they're going to be in 9. So, an extra 5 minutes in level 6. Not the best move, but you just don't know.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know, and then so many factors come into play. Like you say 6, maybe you saw 75% of those rooms before you got the Triforce and left, or and all these different things you can take into consideration. It makes for a wacky time, which is one of the things I like about the lower end too. It not only makes it for a wacky time, but it gives an opportunity for upsets. I said at the beginning, our 1-0 bracket that we're coming into today is full of a ton of good players. Our 0-1 bracket is full of a ton of good players. There are some crazy upsets that happened in the first week.
Yeah, and next week you're gonna the 1-1s. It's just gonna be just a melting pot of really good talent, and the wheel can be nice, the wheel can be evil. That's why we all like the wheel. So Tabby grinding their way up in level 7 does have the Triforce location. Yeah, you really don't want to see this coming in from the right-hand side on a Patra. There's nothing you can do. Potentially, you could have burned your, candle boosted, but that's just a tough screen. Tabby's had enough of 7. I don't disagree. Let's get that candle out and start burning down the forest.
Yeah, 7 is a slog right over there, right? Oh, we
And
find
look at
9
that.
finally.
One screen from start, all along.
All 8.
We've got the full Mountie. Oof. We've got 8. As Pleco finds level 8. So Pleco does not know this. Try in 7, Tabby. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to go back and get it at some point. Yeah, this made things interesting.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a little rough. Now, Tabby picking up that other heart, incidentally, at that take any there, is going to guarantee Tabby picking up that power bracelet as the white sword item over there. So we should be able to see that pickup. Maybe not necessarily at this moment, but soon. And gosh, there is another take any right there. So that's 2 take any's hidden under candles that we've seen so far.
Yeah, as Pleco was doing the manhandle dance, one wood sword hit away from the last portion of the manhandla 1. Potentially get some bombs back if the Dongo cooperates.
That was a good bomb drop, though. Stunned the Dongo and blew a hole in the top of that room. That was good work.
Super bomb, yeah.
And we got blue moblins. Maybe there's more bombs to be had. I do like the usage of the boomerang, right? I know we're past what we'd call normally the early stage of the game here, but it's still gaining a lot of value, especially on green tunic, 4 hearts, wood sword. Utilizing this is really being constructive.
It's a weapon, and some of the very best runners, you will see them pick it up. You also see them occasionally buy a blue ring. You're looking at this. It's not a contest. Can I do it without a certain item? You've got tools available, and while the boomerang can't do a lot, it is still a tool. So I am a big fan of leveraging whatever you can get. And there's another one of those horrible lag screens with all the blue Lionels.
Just based off of how this looks on the stream. Now, this is me taking a guess, but I wonder if Tabby's playing on hardware. I know Pleco does, in terms of like actual physical hardware as compared to playing on an emulator. And man, that hardware can only do so much.
I guess I never thought of that. On some of those lag screens on emulator, as one that has only ever played on hardware, is the lag not as persistent?
It's the same, emulator or not, and the reason for that, among other things, and if someone's more technical than me in the crowd, you feel free to come in and say I'm wrong, but the reason generally is that the emulator is emulating everything: the memory management of the console, how the CPU is managed in the console, the graphic processing, everything is done exactly the way that the console should be doing it. So the lag is exactly quote unquote exactly the same over in an emulator versus in the hardware. It could be changed in theory. In theory, you could make changes and sort of patch it out, so to speak. But clearly, we don't here, right? So this way, it gives an even playing ground for anyone on an emulator versus on hardware when they play this. That's a rough. Well, actually, no. There we go. I was gonna say that's a rough limo room for Pleco, but not too bad. By the way, Tabby getting the world wrap to pick up that coast heart. We are now sitting pretty at 8 hearts.
Yeah, it's a good play to work that in. You've got 8 now. You're going to come up through the forest, get these couple of burn bush checks. And it's going to allow you then to probably work your way up to Vanilla 5, which I believe is where our power bracelet is.
It is definitely the Lost Hills. I think it's 1 or 2 screens to the east, because I believe Vanilla 5 is where we found the candle.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. I think we're gonna go find out though, because it looks like Tabby is booking it right for the
He
Lost
knows.
Hills.
The thing is that I don't know exactly. You don't know exactly. I bet Tabby's going to get it on his first try.
Yeah, that is correct. Oh, Pleco finding level 1. Very
That
nice.
could be really beneficial. That, behind in the Triforce count right now, not really behind in much else other than that ladder. Now, we do have a segmented level 1, which is not unheard of these days. And you were right, it was 2 to the right of Vanilla 5. But yeah, level 1 is, you got to get in there and dig that out and hope for some good.
Yeah, in these flag sets, this should be our smallest level, and you got 2 actual items in there besides the heart. Like that's absolutely worth the investment to go looking for that, even if it's segmented, even if the enemies are a little nasty. Now, obviously, you got to know your limits here and not go too crazy digging into a dungeon where things are messy. But generally speaking, it's worth the time, the energy, and the effort.
And welcome in Raiders for Speed Gaming 3. We are, as you can see, about 40 minutes in. Not a whole lot of progress in terms of Triforces or required items. But I'd say we're getting to that point now where we're going to start to find some things. Tabby, coincidentally, is going to, level 8. So if only he knew one screen to the right was level 1, he would probably want to do 1 before 8. But you see in the upper right-hand corner, all 8 Triforces are required, so you don't get any free passes here this evening. And Tabby does find level 1, so we may get some syncing up here, which is always cool.
We're leaving. Oh, we're gonna go do the pirouette, just like Pleco did. A fun little trick, right? If there's a locked door, left, top, right, bottom, etc., go ahead and enter the screen that the dungeon is on from that direction, and it will go and it will pop that door for you.
And a key moment right here is that last room in the top segment is ladder blocked. Tabby has his ladder, so we'll see if that comes into play or not. Yeah. And kind of interesting, the level 1. It seems like level 1s and 2s are typically the rooms you get in. It's like 1 or 2 rooms, and then it's a transport to everything else. This is the inverse. Everything's in this bottom section and just a couple of rooms up top. So we shall see what's in here. Plus, we'll get some more keys, which clearly every room seems to have a key door.
Well, thankfully, level 1 is actually giving up keys instead of just eating them the entire time. These whiz robes are not making this look like the most pleasant experience, but we're doing a pretty good job clearing them out on Pleco's side, or at least avoiding them where possible.
And this is going to be either a heart or an item, we know. This room doesn't drop in levels 1, 4, or 5. Oh, it's the Triforce. So, and we've got a recorder for Pleco. So, and she doesn't have to try out of 8. I was thinking if she had to try out of 8, it would be very quick to record her back here. But our tracker loves the tutor. On the other hand, Thank you, Jess. Oh, look at that. And we've got a red ring. So
That's a nice boon for a little bit, but Tabby's not that far behind from finding the exact same thing.
yeah, they're both gonna leave here with the exception of Pleco and the Triforce with the same haul. We've got one more item.
We got the heart should be around.
We got
somewhere,
them all.
we got
Yeah, the heart was
recorder
one
and the red
room
ring.
in.
Yeah.
So Pleco's just looking for the Triforce.
Yeah, and the room below this one is the one with the compass in there, but Pleco did not see that room. It was locked from the old man hint that was down at the bottom of the L
That's
column.
right.
So yeah, the bomb will do it.
Yep. Okay, well this is gonna push her out, which is a good thing. And we'll see Divergent-wise. Tabby's staying away from level 8. Gonna go ahead and do the Southern Coast. Had not done that yet.
All right, Pleco is out, but at least combat got a little bit easier here, right? Defensive upgrade is definitely a nice win.
Absolutely. And knowing you've got so many dungeons outstanding, you just picked up a key overworld block item. I think she might have a couple more bushes over here to burn, but well, you've got 2 recorder spots over here too. I'm tooting my way through this overworld right now. Like, what am I gonna bust out? Because there's not much left, and we've got like still half the dungeons almost outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the power bracelet. I mean, we can see it's on Tabby's side, but Pleco knows that the power bracelet is a white sword item. And so, they're probably going to think through going ahead and picking that up and doing something with it. But the recorder, for sure, at this stage, I mean, I'd be going to every spot I could. I'd be shocked if the recorder wasn't blocking at least one dungeon at this point.
And good news for Pleco, she finally confirmed the coast item. So, but does not have the ladder. Tabby going to do some power bracelet checks and then probably head up into the desert and start blowing his tutor. I tell you what he just did, I see runners do that, including myself, all the time. Where it lets you out of that particular cave and you start going right, you're going right back in.
Oh, yeah, all the time. All right, we got one of the recorder checks over here in the forest, the second of 2 recorder checks, over at 1Q2 or 2Q3, and we will find this seed 4.
Well, 4. So good find. This check is out of the way typically. By the time you find the recorder, you've probably done most of the forest already. But I like getting this one because it's 100% guaranteed, right? That it's going to open, just like Vanilla 7. And finds an early Triforce. Elects not to. So that would be one I would pick up because all those enemies, unfortunately, are going to be back.
Yeah, they're a little
difficult, but
a little gross. By the way, that take any that Tabby just found under the recorder spot. So we've seen 3 out of 4. And of those 3, 2 were under burn bushes, 1 was recorder. So there's definitely some blocking for these take any's. It's going to make it challenging for well, I mean, it has made it challenging for our runners to get the heart count they need. And oh my goodness, that gel. What are we doing, gel? There we go.
Nice diagonal shot.
Good angle. Make it worth it. Push that block. It pushes. What do we got? And we got the item.
We've got a book.
Oh, and hot on Pleco's heels, Tabby is making their own way into level 4 right now.
Yeah, and she's going to make quick work out of this. Go right back in, grab that try, and head on out. Unfortunately, though, again, I don't think we've seen a dungeon under a power bracelet spot yet. I know Tabby's checked several of them. So whether or not that's required or not, she's still not going to be eligible to pick it up. But I believe you did say, Neo, there was a take any recorder spot in the desert.
There is, yeah.
Probably going to find that here soon.
Yeah, we've seen 2 of them over on the western side of Candle Row, and then that one over in the desert. And if there's been a 4th one so far, Jess, our tracker, our wonderful tracker, feel free to point out where that 4th one was. Oh, we're going hint shopping on Pleco's side.
Oh!
And we know where the bow is now. I mean, we still have to find out where 2 is, but,
Magical boomerang in 8. Okay, so
power bracelet blocked too.
Very helpful hints there. I imagine Tabby's got the money. I imagine he will do a similar move after he leaves here.
Pleco's heading right for that power bracelet too, and she's about to
Yeah.
find out. Doesn't work.
She had a bomb hole over here, it looks like. She's going to take care of first. But yeah, she's still going to come up 1 heart short.
All right, here's that power bracelet check. Again, we are not going to see, or at least Pleco's not going to see what she wants to see, and there it is. So knowing that that's blocked, that means you gotta, yeah, that's not a happy stab of that sword right there. That's not a happy stab in the we've either.
We've got a lot of sword rage here. Calm down, runners.
Alrighty, those hints were incredibly helpful.
Hints yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's exactly where I was going. Super helpful for Pleco. Tabby's got to get in on this, unless they want to go through and just dig everything. Like that is knowing that you got to aim specifically for the power bracelet checks is a huge moment.
Yeah, and the thing is though, because I can only watch so many things at once. I don't know Tabby's tracker. My guess is he's going to find 2 here very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got many PB spots left. And Pleco's going to go ahead and get her heart.
Yeah, I was thinking that Tabby was probably heading west to go to the push block that's right near the grave, but maybe we're going to go check out Bogey's arrow right now, as well as the recorder check.
And yeah, when you've got both recorder and power bracelet, not uncommon. See runners go ahead up here because you can completely knock out this section. Usually East Death Mountain takes 2 trips, sometimes 3 trips. And it's not the arrow.
Yeah. I mean, you got power bracelet block up here and mixed overworld. We got a recorder check. We have bombs, and we have an open cave. Oh, that's right. Pleco found that that recorder blocked take any, and that is enough to get her power bracelet.
So she's going to start doing the checks. And again, I'm pretty sure Tabby did most of these out here in the east. Now we've got that one really awful to get to, and that's the one Tabby's going for now, power bracelet spot. You hate to see it. You just don't want to. I think it's the letter in vanilla second quest.
Yeah, 2Q letter spot is where we're going.
No, so I think you're right. I think it's grave. I don't know that there are any other PB spots left.
Bonk. Causing problems with the recorder over there. Pleco going? Oh, trying to keep recording. That's what I was going to say. We're not going back into 4, are we?
Okay, so she's at 5. Let's see if she prioritizes that power bracelet with the hint. She may actually find 2 before Tabby on her one of her maybe second or third power bracelet spot. Yeah, that's where
she's going for the grave one, which, like we said.
And we got a sync again. We've got the sync. So there excellent. We are frame count away of saying that was even, so.
Well, that is a 2, isn't it?
It is. You got a little Pez candy over there on the bottom right.
Oh, now here's where we diverge. Tabby going to clear out the rest of that T, and Pleco. Oh no, Pleco just poking in, seeing what was going on.
Yeah, both runners clearing these. I know you got the red ring. I probably wait and see if this room's required. Although, with a Dark Nut dungeon, you may have way worse rooms than 3 of them. But really, it's the bubbles that are going to keep getting in your path. And this is a dead end, so yeah, go ahead and get out of there.
And now Pleco's gonna, I assume Tabby's gonna check everything because this is 2, it's a smallish dungeon, why not? Pleco knows they need to check 2 because they know the bow is in here. Knowledge Tabby does not have.
Yeah, and gotta credit chat. I just now realized it's got 3 segments. I did not at first glance notice that top section was not connected. So, yeah.
Ooh, that is a little rough on both of their sides. I mean, Pleco's got a key block there potentially if she wants to try to go. Oh, key block, locked door. Only one key. Tabby also only on 1 key. So we're gonna see how things actually pan out in this too.
And there's the bow. So gonna stumble on it pretty quickly. You almost can't miss it after you take this transport. She does not have the compass yet. I think it may be.
I think it's in the segment.
Yeah, I think it's right here. Yeah, so she's definitely going to find it. So good dig for both runners here. Tabby going to finish up just a little bit quicker. Gonna reset that room, get a hit for your trouble. And yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, not necessarily the most helpful hint, but at least we're getting helpful hints by having the book. Ooh,
No,
Pleco, we don't want to leave that room.
No. That might leave a mark.
I mean,
but she's got to stay in here.
Yeah,
she's gonna clear every room because of the hint. So it's just, yeah.
Gonna cost maybe a minute or so, 2 minutes, something like that, as she goes through. Not the worst in the world.
Well, Tabby checking more recorder spots. And we've got level 6. So if my calculations are correct, we've now found everything and raft not required.
Yeah, that's it. Raft not required. So Tabby's got knowledge of every dungeon we have at this point. Tabby's also got the bow. Now we're going to come down to the big question. Do we just, are we opportunistic in 6? Do we find the Triforce and just go? Because 6 is such an annoying level. Same thing, by the way, with 7 and 8 when we return to those levels. Or do we dig any of them?
I personally, if I stumble across a push block, I'm checking it. I am not going to go out of my way after the Triforce. At this point, almost an hour in, you've got the book. You've got a hint in level 9. Now, Tabby does not know magical boomerangs in 8, so a little less knowledge. But yeah, I'm trying going.
Yeah, I would absolutely go into 9 as well. Hopefully that'll pan out for our runners, or not. It makes for more entertainment for us when they have to go back to another dungeon. But for them, probably a little frustrating.
Yeah, and we've got a ladder situation here. My guess is Pleco's gonna make her way back into 3. I don't think she's seen the Triforce requirement in the 9. I don't think she's found 9.
I don't think so either. I mean, she knows she's got to get 5 at the very least, but she may be sitting back saying the tough ones, like, we'll move on for now. Right?
Yeah,
Let's not be too aggressive.
She's taken a dip in 7 already and in 8. I think you got to make 3 your next dungeon. At this point, the only dungeon she hasn't found is 6
and 9.
And 9, yeah. So I think I'm heading to 3 after this.
Yeah, that seems pretty
good
reasonable.
work with those Pole's voice. The issue would be is if she explores more, finds 6, and is ladder blocked. So that would slow her down. Tabby making good work. I mean, you're up to 12 hearts. You've got the bow. You've got the ladder. You've got a book, and there is always the chance too. You come across a hint in a dungeon that could potentially tell you where you're going. But
you can open everything up, right?
yep.
All right, well, let's see how we end up doing here, right? I mean, it's still not off the table that we can get something a little bit wacky. You know, if we have Tabby, for instance, going and doing the Triforce check like you would do, like I would do, right? Triforce, you know, push a block if you see it, be opportunistic, but aim for 9. Maybe we see Pleco going through and doing a wacky dig of a 7 or an 8 all across the board and finding silvers and closing up that gap. But as of right now, I mean, we definitely have a little bit of a distance between the two of them.
Yeah, you summarized it perfectly. It's one of the things when I try to I try to balance it, right? Like, okay, what does the person that's behind need? And you hit it right on the head. If Tabby goes to 9 without silvers, and let's say Pleco digs out a 7, right? Like, there you go. That could, and the silvers are in there, that can change it. But we'll see. We just don't know. But if you're going to look for the race to tighten up, you would need probably at this point something like that, because the gap's getting pretty large here.
And with that heart difference right now, I mean, this is getting into this is Mag's territory, right, for Tabby. You know, it's worth going ahead and checking that out, and that's going to go and that's going to potentially widen the gulf even more, especially if some of these dungeons have these nasty blue dark nuts that we have in here, and we haven't seen many whiz robes right now, and so there's a good chance that they rolled over into level 9.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, with the combat, you know, unless the only way I'm maybe not going out of my way for mags is if I get a wand or if I get a white sword. I'll take a white sword and red ring over green tunic and mags any day.
Oh yeah.
And that to me would be enough, but the wand would be the other thing too. But yeah, at this point I would go out of my way. If I can get the mags and only cost myself maybe a minute, I think I can make up that time in combat. And Pleco gets her bow.
Now watch,
Out of
because we're
2.
talking about offensive upgrades. Watch the wand and the white sword both being 9.
Yeah, and you know the way this is shaping up, it is definitely a possibility, right? You've got an item in 7, you've got an item in 8. You've got, don't forget, we still got that mystery item in 5 that neither runner was able to dig out. Now Pleco has got a key issue though too. So that's gonna be coming into play. There's the boat, which Tabby is picking up.
Tabby's seen everything in the overworld at this
He
stage,
has.
though.
Yeah. You know what it does is if he's going to by chance use the any roads, it does allow him to get off of the central raft spot.
True.
I don't know that that's enough for me to pick it up because start screen's like three screens from it, but unfortunately, the issue that I thought could happen with Pleco leaving 2 is about to happen. If she went to 3 and gets that ladder, but she's going into 6. And I think she's going to get ladder blocked.
6 is a dig. She's going to be she's going to want to go ahead and find the item here in 6, of course.
Yeah.
Not just because, you know, hey, maybe it's silvers or something like that, but she has not seen 9. And as a result, she's going to want the overworld blocking items if we see them, and hasn't seen a ladder, mind you, too. Though ladder block will happen eventually here in 6. And to answer a question in chat, I am pretty sure that we are missing the 4th take any over on the overworld. We found 2 of them over in Candle Row, and 1 of them underneath the recorder spot in the desert, or a recorder spot in the desert. Not a pretty room with that patch. I don't care what color your tunic is. It's not a pretty room.
Now, coming in from the left or bottom, a little more palatable. Coming from the top like that, or from the right, it can be a little challenging. But
Well, Tabby has made the choice to start digging 8 at this point. I mean, we got to go find the Triforce, right?
Yep.
Anyway. And, I mean, Tabby has seen most of 7, knows where the Triforce is in 7. 8 is the last real exploratory dungeon until 9, so... Yeah, it's time to go in.
And there's the map of 8. I think this is our ladder block. No. Okay, maybe one more room up. If anything, with this move, although Pleco will have to return unless there was a path to the try that was not ladder blocked, she is, well, she's down to 1 key again. But it's one more than she had when she came in, so.
We haven't seen the magical key, the any key, anywhere yet in this flag set. So I mean, it's possible. I'm sorry, in the seed. So I mean, it's possible it could be hanging around in 9, or we could see it in 8 or 7, or even be the item in 5 at this point. One we left behind. Boy, that Triforce is quite a distance away from where Tabby is right now in 8. Time to look for a transport.
Yeah, absolutely. You're in a large dungeon like that, and you see a try that far away. I'm taking the first transport that I find.
Tabby's bombing around over there on the left side, knowing that the left side's not going to get him where he needs to be. That tells me Tabby's interested in digging this 8 for the 2 items that are in here.
Was he over there when he got the map, though, and maybe wanted to finish it up? I'm not positive. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to pull off the nice ladder clip here.
Very smooth.
Oh, and you know what? Pleco somehow got around that Chevy room. I don't know how she's above it. But yeah, that was the choke point I was worried about. She's gonna, looks like, go a little bit further. Tabby elects to continue going up. And I agree with this. Like, look, could be a floor item in 8. Why not clear the rooms on the path to the Triforce? Going a little extra, though.
Knowing what's left on the docket at this point in time, I mean, you got silver arrows, white sword, wand, any key, or red candle. Every one of those is valuable. Red candle, maybe the least valuable of everything there, but everything is valuable. So if you pick it up, like, you're not wasting any time by doing so. So this is, you know, again, we're definitely investigating 8 right now.
All right, Pleco back in the painful like room. And Chad asked about the Ferk. It might have been. Yes, I didn't see it. My eyes aren't trained to really pinpoint blue boomerangs.
Yeah, that's a thing we try to ignore as much as we can, Jess. Yeah.
Hurts my eyes. Heavy getting the force. Good job.
Good force on that Maldorm. That's another fun mechanical thing to newer people out here. If you take a bop to that Maldorm and you kill the entire Maldorm, say for that last little segment, you kill it with your sword or whatever you kill it with. That last one you hit it with the bomb, that's guaranteeing you that 10 count on the bomb, so you'll get a bomb pack as a refill. It's a nice net gain if you run into one.
Like with another key. And yeah, for Tabby here too, in case he has to come back, if the game forces him back to 8, at least he knows he's got this top section all cleared out.
True.
But up to 9 keys. So up to 10 keys. It should be in decent shape right now, which probably means everybody's one of their favorite memes is we know it's coming next, and we'll see the any key.
I was gonna add exactly that, right? Like I said, everything here was valuable, not so much anymore. That is officially a ladder blocked Triforce in 8. Yeah. So that's 1 and 8 that are 100% blocked. And while we did, maybe we did see the magical boomerang on the ground in 8 on Tabby's side of the house. Didn't appear that Tabby picked it up, so good. Well, good for Tabby if they want to know.
Tough to pass up.
Yeah, you know, it's it sure is an item, isn't it?
Yeah, when it's an hour and 7 minutes in, it becomes a little more devalued. But I don't know if this is the raft, which Pleco will pick up without level 9 knowledge.
Here we are with Tabby and 7, knowing where that Triforce is. I mean, this should be a pretty quick. I say pretty quick. I mean, we ran into fun with Patras and all sorts of stuff, but I imagine it's not going to be a significant investment for Tabby to make their way all the way up to that Triforce.
Yeah, he's not taking that direct path, so could be, again, just hedging a little bit, right? Maybe Oh, and good news for Pleco, she is able to get that Triforce. I don't know why I was convinced it was ladder block. Maybe
I
because
was
every
too,
time I
Marco.
looked up, every time I looked up, Tabby appeared to be in a Chevy room. So, but yeah, good on her.
Yeah, it was a good investment. Good time sinking to 6 to go ahead and get that. Since nothing hurt, and it's not like that raft wasn't on the way to the Triforce or close enough to the Triforce anyway, so not a significant loss there. Though it would have been faster if that ladder had been around. Oh, more hints.
Pleco gets more hints. This could be big.
Expensive though, we can't get all 3. That's not very helpful. I mean, it's helpful, but it's not like helpful. Not helpful at all.
That's not helpful.
We were hoping for something about silvers or whatnot, or similar, but here we are.
Yeah, that right there is where, for Pleco, it could be a bit of a game changer. Still a lot of work to do, but, silvers or Gleok returns with silvers. Like that.
Yeah, it'd be great.
That would have been helpful. I don't think Tabby's going to check level 5, maybe. Or, yeah, that would be the other one, is if it's in 5.
Yeah, I have to assume that after we're done here in 7, Tabby's going straight to level 9. I mean, maybe there's a 5 drop in somewhere, but I'm going to assume level 9, and then if 9 doesn't have the silvers, I'm going to assume that we're taking a trip to 5.
Yeah, I'm going 5 first. Absolutely. Yeah. And then at that point, if I'm Tabby, I'm looking at those 2 maps of these 2 dungeons. Now he is, he is. I would call it the hedge move. You're clearing some of these rooms. The time to clear 2 additional rooms is 30 seconds. The time to try and figure out where to go if you get a hint in 9 that the silvers are not can take a lot longer. So you're at least getting some extra knowledge. Pleco picks up a potion. Not going to be going after mags tonight. And she just has to go. I wonder what her reaction is when she realizes 9 is one screen from start. Because if I'm an hour and 10 minutes in, I'm wondering what the try requirement is, and I think she's going to get it now. And this is interesting for Tabby.
That was worth the dig, wasn't it?
That was about the last piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. This is with the gap that we're looking at right now. This had to help close this. This had better be the worst 9 we've ever seen.
Yeah, I would say, or some critical mismark, and Tabby's played this very, very well.
Oh, incredible! Yeah.
This was not an easy seed. Some of these seeds you're seeing folks finish in, 40 minutes and whatnot. All 8 Triforces required. 6, 7, and 8 lived up to their name. I mean, they were garbage dungeons. Just looking at this 7 here. I think he did 3 dips into 7. Pleco's done a couple of dips into 7. And yeah, chat pointing out that ladder.
Yeah, it really was.
2 Triforces ladder blocked for sure. And, unfortunately on Pleco's part, not getting back to 3 and going into 8, she's going to get that compass, see how far away that Triforce is. And unfortunately, not going to be able to pick it up. So an hour and 12 minutes in, we've got our first runner able to get past the old man in level 9. We'll be looking for Ganon, and we'll be looking for Zelda. Zelda behind a shutter door that does not open until all the enemies in the room, until Ganon has been cleared. It will open if all enemies are in the room and Ganon is dead. So
We heard a roar. We did hear a roar.
we've got an early Ganon roar. And
Whether we can
Pleco
find
is
Ganon.
broke, so she can't use her arrows on Pole's voice. Tabby's about to fight Ganon.
Be an incredibly quick end to the game if it turns out that Zelda one room down in 9. The stun lock there, trying to make that go as fast as possible.
And gets the good kill. We'll
Very
see
nice.
what's below us here.
Is it Zelda?
No. So, at this point, you'll see some people clearing every room for compass potential. I kind of like to assess what the enemy set is in said room. But yeah, you're looking for a compass, a map obviously would be very helpful. And yeah, I'm not clearing that room for anything.
Map is not that valuable.
No, and you were correct earlier with the Wizrobes in level 9.
Yeah, I think the odds were playing in the favor of that one because I think we only saw them in one dungeon, right? Was Robes maybe 2?
Yeah, I remember them in 1 for sure, but I can't remember which
Yeah,
dungeon. Tabby is out of bombs, so it could force him to start taking some transports. Looks like that's what he's going to do here.
and we'll see every enemy set at least 2 dungeons, right? So if we only saw Wizrobes once by this point in time, then like, oof, rough. All right, Pleco's confirming that one of the items that we have in 8, the one that we don't know about, is on the floor somewhere because Pleco found the heart in a staircase. No bombs for Tabby, huh?
No, I mean, if you're gonna, I would wait until I'm bomb blocked at this point. But you are 1 screen from start if you need to do an up A and reset your global.
That is true.
But
Not
doing, well, ends up finding the red candle. If you're low on keys or you're low on bombs, just taking every transport is typically a halfway, a pretty good option. It's going to get you more dungeon clearance.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, we're gonna head down to that turnstile, take a peek around. Pleco's getting very close to where that Triforce is an 8, but she's about to be in for a rude awakening when she sees that we are in fact ladder blocked from it.
She actually doesn't know it's here.
True, but she's got to check that room right after.
Oh yeah,
right?
she's checking it, but she.
Oh yeah, it's right. Yeah, without the compass, it's because it's not sitting on the ground. You're absolutely correct.
And yeah, she can't kill the Aquamenus, so.
Doesn't quite get to see the bomb block. I'm sorry, the ladder block there. That's tough. And there's our map.
Good find for Tabby. Yeah, you're killing these. You're hoping for a bomb drop. You're hoping for a compass.
And you're hoping for a slew of things here at this point.
You are. And, he's still got some rooms to go, but we got the hint who's hiding the compass. Unfortunately, the Vires don't go down to the Silvers.
Ah, that's a shame. I hate when that happens. All the enemies in this set, like Wizrobes are great rolling down, Darknet's great rolling down. I just love when fires start rolling down, making it easier. And they are bomb droppers, so if they do
Yep.
die to mag/silver arrow or
Oh,
less,
we're
like
gonna
it's a
find our
good
other item. Oh, so magical boomerang was in a staircase. So floor item still in play.
We're getting pretty close to full exploration from Pleco here in this 8-2, so I do think we're going to get a chance to see this floor item. Though, oh, and there it is. It is the any key.
And Tabby goes ahead.
It's bomb time, yeah.
Bomb store down here? Yeah, the 5 rupee. No? One below, I think.
There we go.
There you go.
Our remaining 2 items out there, incidentally, wand and white sword. So my hilarity guess of having both of those items in 9 was wrong. But at least one of them is. One has to be in 9 and one has to be in 5.
I'll tell you, if that wand was in 5, or white sword in
Yeah.
5, which, one of them is at this point, neither runner dug that item out, could have been beneficial.
Quite an oomph of a combat upgrade, especially if they had gotten it on their first dip into 5.
And Tabby ends up finding bomb droppers there. So those are keys, but not holding the compass.
Yeah, and that was a shutter door in the lower left-hand corner, but obviously it is not Zelda, since it would have popped open if it were.
And at least that hint, the other thing it does too, especially in a Wizrobe dungeon, not that you're going to be clearing Wizrobe rooms for a compass, but at least now you don't need to waste your time on any other room kills.
There's nothing in a stair that you care about at this point.
Yep.
There's nothing on the floor that you care about at this point other than the compass that you need keys for. And that's it. And then it's just find Zelda and figure it out from there. Now, technically, we could try clearing this room here. No? Okay. Oh, that's
I
right.
think it can, right? It doesn't have to be a room full of keys. I think just keys have to be in a room.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If keys are part of the enemy set, it counts. But that was a quote-unquote useless moat there that doesn't drop in 9.
Oh, correct. Yep, correct.
I got all excited too when I saw the keys. So I was like, man,
yeah, pointless
go
moat.
Kill
him.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Pointless moat. I just saw the keys and didn't even pay attention to the room. And again, and not in his room. Instead, we've got level 3 boss in there.
And while we're going ahead and we're locating around. Oh,
there it is.
Compass, and we know where we're going. But while we're going through and we're checking all of this out right now, I also want to call a little bit of attention to 2 important things while Tabby finds their way over to Zelda. Is one, Mako, myself, Jess, we're coming along for the ride here today, doing your commentary, doing your tracking, doing all sorts of fun stuff. We could always use more commentators and more trackers, especially as we are right now in the middle of our, and there's a wand, by the way, in 9. We're in the middle of our 2025 Random Forest Tournament. This is only week 2 of the Swiss weeks. We got 6 of these before we even get to brackets, guys. So if you like watching this kind of content, you're not part of our Discord, come join our Discord. We'll get a link in the chat for you. A great community. We'll get you up to speed on the game and also, of course, get you into commentary and tracking and all that good stuff. And the second one is, as you can see a link in chat already, there is a fantastic wiki with a bunch of different things gone there that are about this game that are incredibly helpful. That is Z1R.wiki. Take a trip over there. If you have any questions about anything that's going on, everything we've talked to you about today is in there in some capacity.
Yeah, and mad props out to the folks getting that wiki up and running. great to see all that stuff in one concise location, and really good source for anybody looking to find out more about Z1R, the community, and I would say anything that you're not going to find in that wiki. Once you're in the community, you're going to have a lot of people that will be reaching out to help you. Every summer we do a Rookie Rumble tournament. Prior to that, we will do a special async battle royal where any newer runners that would like to be paired up with a vet, we'll be able to walk them through, kind of live coaching during either 6 or 8 seeds, depends on how many we do this year. So it's a really good opportunity to get that hands-on experience. As we see the shutter door open up on Tabby's side, get your GGs in chat for Tabby Orange with a racetime.gg official time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 10 seconds.
GG out to Tabby, and with that, Pleco has DNF'd. And so we're going to get both of them here into the comms booth if we can, get an opportunity to talk about how the match went for the two of them, what their thoughts were, and, maybe some of their pain points that they ended up running into. Well, I got to tell you, that was a tough seed, all things considered. There was a lot of combat. Things were blocked. We got, 2 recorder block dungeons, 1 power bracelet blocked, a whole bunch of candle stuff. There was 1 candle shop that we saw that was behind a bomb spot. Nothing. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was in an open cave. It was a 1Q5. Nothing else unless you had a candle or you had a power bracelet was the other one that we had in play there. And keeping in mind too that the red candle was a 9, that made it incredibly hard for people to get a bunch of things even moving here. Not to mention that combat that we ran into both on the overworld and the underworld. So, all things considered, very interesting seed to see. And welcome to the commentary booth, Tabby Orange. GG.
Thank you.
GG's, Tabby. Really good job. That it was a really, I would say, difficult seed, knowing the normal finish times for this flag set, and just looking up and down the tracker, all the items that required. Obviously, you needed the ladder for 2 tries. You needed the power bracelet for the level. You needed the recorder for 2 levels. What were you thinking during that seed? Especially as you kind of hit that 1 hour mark, and it's like, my goodness, what do I need to do to finish?
Yeah, and I try not to worry too much about the Triforces early. But then all of a sudden, you're 40 minutes in, and you have 2 Triforces, and I think I was still missing 3 dungeons, and I'm like, this is not good. This is rough. And having to go back and forth on the overworld to hit the spots again was, that takes a lot of time, and you don't want to do it, but in these flags you have to do it. You often have to do it, so you just try to do it as best you can. And there was no combat help for a long time, at least that I saw. I'm out here grabbing the wand after killing Ganon, just for something.
Yeah, I supported that actually. Heck, even the red candle, I think you had to clear that one fire room at least twice, maybe 3 times, and the red candle is the best weapon when they roll up. So
yes, I walked away, and then I walked into that fire room again. I was like, I should have grabbed it. It would have saved the amount of time I saved. I would have saved it just in that. Doing that room twice. I was like, I should have grabbed it.
It's funny how it works out. You get a room like that, and that's the one you have to keep going through. You ran into the bomb issues early, and you did exactly, I think, what most of us do, right? You wait till 9 kicks you out. You may find that bomb pack on the floor. You may find your way through transports and whatnot, but the bomb shop just a couple of screens away. But you never want to leave 9. But
no, you don't, because
You
you can
pressed
take
it
a
as long as you
transport.
could.
So many
Yeah.
times you take a transport and it's just right there. So it's like
Yeah.
you gotta at least take it before you start leaving to like go get some bombs. I was like, well, at least they're cheap and they're right there.
Yeah, looking at the seed, I would say where the divergence began, because I don't know the exact time, Tabby. I'd say at least the first third of the race, you guys were very close. Getting that ladder, which always tends to be like the holy grail item, right? Like it's likely blocking multiple things or progression. And
Oh, yeah.
getting that ladder allowed you to fully get all of one completed, allowed you to get the try out of 8. Unfortunately for Pleco, she ran out of keys and bombs when she went into 3. So that was like, I'd say the best or the biggest early decision or where things split. And she didn't get back to 3. So as you can imagine, she found her way to the try in 6, which every time I looked at you in 6, it looked like you were in a Chevy room. So somehow she found her way to the try, but obviously 1 and 8 still outstanding, and just never went back to 7. So the early ladder was, put you in, I would say, the driver's seat at that point. So
yeah, that was absolutely the part that opens it up for sure.
Exactly. And with the ladder, you never, once you have it, you like you said, like, oh, 1 was I didn't even, you don't even notice that it's ladder blocked once you have it.
Right.
And we've all finished seeds without the ladder, so when you get the ladder early, sometimes you don't even realize, like, is it, unless it's like, unless the silvers are on the coast or something like that, you're like, is this even you don't know if it's an advantage or not, especially like, I think it was pretty early in 3, right?
It was on the floor in a reverse C room. It was a room that you did an accidental bomb, like on the clock, which I laughed at. Like, you just bombed your clock, but
yes.
And then the ladder kicked out. I'm like, maybe that's the key. You forced it, you willed it in by the random rogue bomb. But yeah, that set you, again, I would say in the driver's seat. One thing I'll bring up, and it didn't obviously impact you at all. When you left level 4 with the book, that burn bush one screen to the right, the one to the left of the Armos and below the Armos, was the hint shop.
Yes. I thought about just spending my money, and then I was like, well, I kind of want this money, and I ended up needing it because my arrows were like the only thing that helped me later. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll come back later to that, and then I just never did.
Yeah, it didn't hurt you. It did. So, in case you were wondering, Pleco did. You guys were both in 4 at the same time. She left, got the hints, and that told her that 2 was. The 2 had the bow, and that 2 was power bracelet blocked. Now, at that time, she only had 5 hearts. So she wasn't able to get the power bracelet. She quickly then did get a heart in the desert, and then it turns out you both entered 2 at the same time. So even though she had the knowledge, you both ended up into the next dungeon at the same time and were in sync. She missed the bow room. That was, I would say, probably the next moment where things started to separate a little bit more. She cleared every other room in 2 and then found the bow. So
absolutely the last room cleared,
yeah. The ladder allowing you to get those tries and then missing the bow. But it was a good race to watch both of you. Again, I'd say probably 45 minutes or so until it started to become clear you had a pretty commanding lead. You played really well. Rookie Rumble 2 champ, back at it this year, moving 2-0. We'll see what the wheel does to you this upcoming Sunday. The 2-0 bracket. Much safer, I would say, to be in 2-0 versus what I think is going to be a really, really tough 1-1 draw on that wheel. that's just going to be nuts. I think the talent that's in that 1-1. So, not that you're not going to have somebody really good in 2-0, but
Yeah,
sitting really
there's
good
just a
right
lot
now.
of talent in
Yeah.
in the entire, in the entire pool. There'll be some good players in 0-2 as well, like a lot of good players in 0-2. So, no matter where you are, you can get a tough match.
Yep, absolutely. Well, you get to sit back and rest a little bit before the festivities start again for you next week on your pursuit to go 3-0. I wish you the best of luck, and GG's again. A really good performance this evening. Neo, anything to add or wrap us up?
No, I mean, I can certainly do a wrap up. I mean, you said it all, Mako. GG Tabby, great game, great match, and to close this all out is the usual. Hey, thank you all for coming. For everybody who's listening in here, or anyone who's catching this at a later point in time on a VOD or on YouTube. But thanks for coming on by. Thanks for watching. The more people that we have that show up, the more likely we are to continue to put these things up on the air. Thanks, by the way, to SpeedGaming for putting us on the air today. And for Jess for showing up, especially at last minute, to go ahead and do our tracking. Thank you so much. We wouldn't have gone on without you to actually keep everything up there and keep Mako and I, 100% accurate in the things that we tell you. And Mako, thank you so much for doing commentary with me. This is the first time we've done it together. I absolutely love it. And I love doing commentary with you. It's a great time. And lastly, thank you to the runners. Tabby, appreciate you coming on by and showing up on a restream, doing this and participating in the tournament. Same to Pleco, who I hope is watching this at a later point in time.
Yeah, well said. I think the only time I tried to talk over you was right there at the end. So there you go. We survived, an hour and 30 minutes without talking over each other. Thanks, Jess, for stepping in. Thank you, Neo. It was a great time. We'll definitely do it again, I'm sure. And great job again, Tabby. Good luck next round. Thank you to all the viewers. We'll see you again real soon, I'm sure. Thanks to SpeedGaming 5 for getting us on. And we will see you all again real soon, I am sure, on one of the SpeedGaming channels. So with that, signing out, and have a good evening.
Have a great one.